Hey everybody, this is Lynn again from A Bit of Birdsong, and I am back for the third time today. And I might be back again before I go to bed tonight. I am listing a series of Flowish journals that were inspired by a wallpaper sample book I had, and I just loved the architectural images that were included in the book to showcase the products. All of the covers were made from these images, and it shows interiors, large doors, furniture, that sort of thing. This one seems kind of plain at the outset, but I love this trim across the top of the wall with, it looks almost like peeling paint. I love it. And the more I worked on this journal, make sure we're still recording and everything's in frame. The more I worked on this journal, the more I fell in love with it. I'm going to try to do this quickly, and I do want to say a couple of things before I open this particular journal. These journals are full of supplies. I shop for vintage ephemera constantly. I have always loved old things. I have a lot of material, but a lot of this is authentic, vintage, one of a kind. You'll never see it again. Even some of the book pages, they might seem simple, but if they come from vintage books, you may never see the book again. I feel like these are very, very reasonably priced. I love to pass along good deals to my customers, and this is going to be listed at a price that includes shipping. And it's easy not to see that sometimes when you first look at Etsy and see the price, and you might think, oh, that's too much. Well, I'm telling you, this is a steal. So I just wanted to say that this has a lot of authentic material, and I do really try to find good things. Anyway, let's get started looking at this journal. When I first started it, I thought, I don't want to do red and green because that feels like Christmas, and it's not Christmas time. But the more I worked on this, the less it felt like Christmas. This is just truly, it was a fun journal to do. There is all sorts of paper in here. This is a stack of little taffeta samples. I love that it's got the green and the red, but honestly, that does not feel at all like a wintry thing to me. It doesn't feel like Christmas. This is just really pretty. It's got book pages. There is a sample page from some gift wrap that has some of the green incorporated. There's some red fruit on these pages. I love this deep, deep red, sort of wine-colored tassel. Once again, and I'm just going to flip and talk. I want to go through this kind of quickly. I tried where I could to keep the pages together by removing the staples so that it can go right into journals. There are a lot of images in here of flowers, roses, Victorian images, a lot of pieces of wallpaper, the big calendar page from 1985 with the Victorian houses. There's a map. This is a copy of the Pied Piper from a vintage children's poetry book. The entire poem is in there. There's another old calendar page, and I love this. I love the ships. I love the way this red trim picks up the mast on the ship. There's a page with some mushrooms, just a little touch of red there. I tried to sort these so that they would be cohesive and you could just use them really without any problem. I tried to do it so it would just flow. How's that? I love this. This was in the wallpaper sample book showing a spindle border, and I just really like things like that. Cardstock, old pages from books. I love those first two pages, well, the one in the front and the one in the back. That paper always seems to be really nice and heavy. I never throw that out. True paper lovers wouldn't. You don't throw it out either, I know. Just the red fruit in the background. There are a lot of really pretty images. That's from an old calendar. There is an envelope here from an old tax preparation booklet. Here are some postage stamps. We don't need to go through all of those. I'd say there's maybe about 7 stamps in there. I love to use stamps in my journals. Postcards. I love this postcard. Look at this. This is from Laura Ashley, 1999, and it is showing their summer clothing line. It's really neat. I love to find things like that. Always on the lookout. This, I just wanted there to be elements of architectural influence in these journals. So, and just the beautiful ladies. I think about ladies and their homes and the things they might have, gardens and walkways. Look at the lady on her couch. Lady with a baby. More flowers. More wallpaper. Another postcard. This set of postcards, there was just a little bit of red in each one. These are foreign. I'm not sure if they're Italian or not. I don't really speak any foreign languages. I should be able to speak French as many classes as I took in school. I can read a little bit of it, but I cannot speak it. I wish I could. I love the red hat. And there's another one. Here's a piece of scrapbook paper. More pages from a large book of French antiques and interior design. Book pages. This one had a lot of mosaics in it. There's a few pages from Romeo and Juliet. There's a vintage doily. Some tea-stained paper and an old postcard. Love this image. Isn't she gorgeous? I love the touch of red and that beautiful trim there. And this came from a book that had some particularly fun and pretty old images. I don't know if they were redone to just look old, but they're just adorable. And you might need to decide if you want to use the front or the back. It's from the same book. More book pages. There is part of an old large map. It's got some really pretty work on it. That would make pretty journal cards or just even pages to a little book. Love the mosaic. This fabric is pretty. I don't always put pink and red together, but this felt like it worked, and it's just a nice big square of fabric. There's some old scrapbook paper there. More from the mosaic design book. And this page just has some scrapbook paper that can tie in nicely. It doesn't have to be all on the same page, but the colors would all work fine with this deep red. And there's another little piece of fabric that's folded in half, so you can kind of tell how big that would be. You can see the bottom of one of those pages with the mosaics. I love that. That as well. There's some birds. I can just imagine a big, beautiful cage with one of these pet birds in a big Victorian house. There's a piece of velvet ribbon. And this is an old music book. It started out blank. It's for students to write their music lessons in. It is already filled in, part of it, and part of it is still blank, but I think that's pretty old. Some of the pages were falling out, so I've got a paper clip here. There's a card catalog card, more birds. You can see that large calendar page again. More architectural elements and book pages. I love that. Look at that hair. That's a pretty little image. It's almost like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, the little boy there with his fishing pole and his dog. Big, beautiful house. And this is neat. This is from a vintage Hershey's cookbook. I tried to keep sections of the book together, so all of these pages are in order. And there are just some really pretty images included in that section. There is a large spread from a vintage magazine from the state of Indiana. It's just beautiful and pastoral. I love the green. More pages of dried flower arrangements and book pages showing interiors from Victorian homes. Just lots of fun stuff in here. There's images of roses and more big book pages. Let's see. Yep, a few of those there. There you can see more of that brick walkway. Another image from a book. Let's see this side as well. The couple on the couch. And that's a pretty page from the Rose book. There's the other half of that little music book, and you can see that part of it is blank. And there's a little card with some trim. This is kind of a papery trim. I mean, if you pull it hard enough, it'll rip, but this is so pretty, glued or sewed onto little journal cards and such. Or just leave it like this and use this as a charm. Some stamped images. And here we are at the back. There are a couple of cards that I made from images and paper that had writing on it. More cardstock and some images from a vintage how to paint book. Come on now, get in there. One page is fairly large. And then some pages from an herbal recipe book back here and more cardstock. So that's it. This book is very near to 3 pounds. Has a lot in it. It's a very good deal. This will be going into the shop shortly, and hopefully I will be back soon to share the architecturally inspired Flowish Journal number 4. This is the 3rd one. All right, thank you so much for stopping in. I'll see you next time. Bye.